I woke up to bomb explosions on around 4 a.m. on 24th February. I saw lots of smoke. I saw fire. When I was in Harkov, I lived close to the military base. My school is a military school, so I lived there. I saw soldiers in their ammunition. I saw soldiers with their guns, their bulletproof jackets, and all those things. That
Wow.
was what moved me to leave my hostel. From the hotel, we moved to the train station, and even at the train station, there was a bomb blast there. We felt it and everything. Even at that train station, I experienced racism. A certain black man was punched by a Ukrainian police for nothing.
Hey,
Hello,
how are you doing today? How are you feeling?
I'm fine. I'm okay. How about you?
For one, I'm just like grateful and thankful that you made the
Mm-hmm.
time to connect. This is an issue that I'm really passionate about, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it really deserves a lot of media attention.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I reached out because I actually saw your NBC interview. Where,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and you spoke so passionately about it, and
Yes, yes, yes,
yeah, it really stood out to me because I think our people are just mistreated
yes.
so much in so many different parts of the world, even during wartime. So, um, yeah, I just appreciate you being here. But first, before I start, are you safe? Are you currently like in a safe space, in a space where like,
Yes. Currently, I'm in Romania. I'm in Bucharest.
oh, okay,
Yes, so I'm safe for now.
okay,
Mhm.
good. Well, we'll just jump right in. Again,
Okay,
thank you for joining me. I'm just, as I
okay,
said, honored to be present and speaking with you in this very moment.
okay,
And
okay.
I know how difficult of a journey we've had within these last few weeks, and I just appreciate you taking the time to speak with me and to even shed light on this tragedy and horrible situation. So, um, first, can we start with just telling a little bit about yourself? I would love to know where you're originally from and where you grew up.
Okay, so then I'm Ethel and I am a Ghanaian. I grew up in Accra, the capital of Ghana. I just went to Ukraine to train as a pilot. Yes.
Oh, wow. So you
Mm-hmm.
were in aviation school.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
amazing. That's really amazing. What inspired you to go into aviation?
I just had this passion since I was young. I think like around 3 years. I just liked planes. I just liked everything about aviation, and I think that is my calling. So yes.
Yes, I can definitely feel that like it's your passion and it's what's calling you
Mhm.
to it. And I feel that there's not a lot of representation for Black women as pilots.
Yes.
Like, yeah, especially female pilots. I think that's
Yes.
it's like a really low percentage. So
Mhm.
it's just I really commend you for leading and kind of carving out your own path in that field.
Mhm.
It's really good. How long have you been in school for?
About 6 months. About 6 months. Yes.
6 months. Okay, so you moved to Ukraine about 6 months ago then.
6 months ago.
Gotcha. Um, so starting off, so you moved to Ukraine for aviation school, and
Yes.
if you don't mind sharing, what school did you attend?
My school is Ivan Kozedu Kharkiv National Air Force University. It's a military school, but then it has a section for foreign students. Yes.
So during your time in school, and even before you started school, from the moment that you moved into Ukraine, did you
Mm.
experience any racism prior to everything that's happening, like before the evacuation started?
Yes. There is some racism in Ukraine, mostly systematic racism.
Hmm.
Sometimes when you, for example, when you order a taxi online and the taxi driver gets to your location and he sees that you're black, he can cancel the trip. Or when you enter a shop, maybe you want to get some clothes, some stuff or anything, And you know the anti-theft mechanism. Sometimes when you just enter, it beeps. But then when it beeps, everyone looks at you like, oh, you're a criminal as long as you are black.
Wow.
They tag the whole criminal thing again, they tag it on you. And then also, sometimes when you enter the shops and then you buy stuff, they think because you buy a lot of stuff, they think because you are black, you might not be able to afford it. And also they do it to mostly black people. They try to like check your receipt. Did you actually buy this? But then I hardly see them doing it to white people.
Right.
Yes.
It's the same have you ever been to the US?
No, I don't. No.
Okay, well, it's
just
very,
Ukraine.
just Ukraine. Okay, well, it's honestly, I think obviously it's more extreme in the Ukraine at the moment, but that sort of similar feeling of walking around the stores, having people follow you, the same thing, it happens here very, very often. And it's interesting because it's not only white people doing it, but it's also other races who have bought,
Yes.
like other races and other people of color who have bought into this idea that black people are just like this white supremacy mindset, and like will follow you around stores, like in the beauty supply stores and so many different areas that happen. So I'm sorry that that's also happening in Ukraine. What would you say the racial climate is like for Black people in Ukraine prior to this happening, prior to the evacuation starting? How did you feel most Black people, or not most, but what would you say the racial climate was and what you experienced?
Okay, like I said earlier on, they might not show it to you directly, but it is systematic. Yes, that's what I can say. It is systematic. In as much as some people might be racist, some are very, very nice, very nice. Like there was this one time I was in the metro station and I didn't have enough money to pay for my trip. So a certain random white woman just paid for me. She just came and she paid for me. So yes, I was very happy. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Yeah, there's always pockets of like good people, but it's really frightening and sad when an overwhelming group of people buy into these like racist ideals. So were you worried knowing that it's sort of like these subtle things, it wasn't overt racism or like in your face racism, it's very subtle and things that you would notice and microaggressions. Were you worried before you tried to evacuate that they might not allow Black residents to leave? Like, was that even a thought in your head that this would happen?
Yes, it was. I was a bit worried because if anything, they would allow their citizens, and if anything, they will allow their citizens to move first. I felt like at that point, at that whole, like the whole evacuation situation, I felt like they might not even consider Black people. That was how I felt. Yes.
Okay, so it was kind of like your intuition telling you like this.
Yes. Because at that point, everyone is running for their lives, and your whole, excuse me to say, but like the whole Black color kind of annoys them.
Okay. Yeah, so it was like basically going to amplify the racism because everyone's in this like panic state. And
something like unconscious racism, I think.
Right, unconscious racism, like unconscious bias. So you say you're calling from Romania. How long have you been in Romania?
I've been here for a week.
A week, wow. And are you in a hotel? Like, did the government provide you assistance, or you have to come out of pocket and pay?
The Ghanaian government provided for us. So I'm in a hotel.
Okay. Is the Ukrainian government offering to provide any like shelter or any assistance to African refugees?
I don't think so. Sincerely, I think I lived in Kharkiv when I was in Ukraine. So my whole journey from Kharkiv to Kharkiv is in the east, and that was where all of the war was going on. when it started. So moving from the east to the west, where there was almost no war, was literally by, you have to do it. No one will help you. No government, nobody is going to help you. So when I got to the border, that was when the Ghanaian, that was when the Ghanaian government helped. They gave us, we got a free train from the Romanian border to Bucharest, and I'm in a hotel, all funded by the Ghanaian government. But then my whole journey in Ukraine was just by my friends and I.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'm glad the Ghanaian government is providing assistance. I think that is really amazing to see. Can you kind of, for viewers watching, can you walk us through and describe what the evacuation process has been like for you before you were in Romania? Where were you? And when you found out the news of the invasion, what were you doing? And upon finding out, what was the first thing you did? And then where were you? How did you know where to go to
Okay.
for safety?
Well, I woke up to bomb explosions on around 4 a.m. on 24th February. I saw lots of smoke. I saw fire. And I also lived in when I was in Kharkov. I lived close to the military base. My school is a military school, so I lived there. I saw soldiers in their ammunition. I saw soldiers with their guns, their bulletproof jackets, and all those things. That
Wow.
was what moved me to leave my hostel, because it was a military base. If anything, that place will be bombed first. So that was what moved me to move from that place to a hotel with my friends, because we didn't really have any place to go to. From the hotel, we moved to the train station, and even at the train station, there was a bomb blast there. We felt it and everything.
Wow.
So from the train station, we got a free train, and even at that train station, I experienced racism. A certain black man was punched by a Ukrainian police for nothing. I really didn't see what he did, but he was just punched in the face for nothing. So yeah, we got a free train. It was 19 hours, I think, from Kharkov. We passed through Kiev, and we had lots of explosions. So the train, whoever was controlling the train had to put off all the lights, and we had to move slowly to go and notice from the Russian soldiers. From there, we got to Lviv, a city in the west. From Lviv, we got a train. We had to pay for our tickets. And I'm so grateful because the authorities at Lviv were very nice. They showed us what to do and all those things. From Lviv, we got to Uzhgorod. And unfortunately, the people at Uzhgorod were very racist, very, very racist. I remember they opened their dogs on us when we tried looking for, yes, in their compound. It was like an estate. So yes, I don't know. I think they tagged us as criminals just because we are black. From Uzhgorod, we took a taxi to the border, to the Romanian border. We crossed. The authorities there were very nice, both Ukrainians and Romanians. They were very nice. And then from there, we took a 14-hour train to Bucharest. So in all, we took about 4 days to undertake this whole evacuation process.
Wow, that honestly must be very, very traumatic.
And I don't want to cut you short, but then
Oh, of course. Go ahead, speak freely.
other people faced worse things. For us, the only thing that really hit us was cold and racism. It was very cold. But then I have friends who went through lots of things. Like they were close to dying. Yes.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry, because I know on one hand it must be very traumatic for you to be a witness to this, and you just trying to live and coexist and get out of the country and go see your family. You're witnessing so many people, the dogs being released from people, and then you're also having to bear the mental effects of seeing your friends go through this and put their life on the line. So I can't even imagine what you're mentally feeling like right now. It must just be really overwhelming and a lot. But I don't want to speak for you.
And also, I would like to say this. It's felt as if when we were in Kharkov, before we started this whole evacuation process, One of the things that drove my friends and I to leave as soon as possible was the fact that we kept on hearing bomb explosions. It was as if we got used to the explosions. Yes, we kept on hearing it. We kept on hearing it. We kept on hearing it. We weren't startled like before, like our first times, but yes.
I think it would be important to share with people watching, just to know like what is happening, because for me, in my opinion, I feel like the media is not really covering what exactly is going on, and the full extent of the violence that a lot of African refugees are facing. So I don't know if you feel comfortable sharing any of the experiences that your friends shared with you, or
Okay.
any instances that you've noticed or observed over your time of trying to flee Ukraine.
One of my friends told me, one of my friends told me that someone got stabbed at the train station while trying to enter the train because it was very chaotic, very violent. Also, I heard that someone sprayed pepper spray because the person wanted to enter the train. And I also heard that at the Polish border, it got to a point the Ukrainian army started attacking them. So then they had to remain calm because the refugees don't have any form of arms, but then the Ukrainian soldiers obviously have arms. So just you have to just stay calm and everything. But it was from the look of things, it wasn't a nice thing. It was very violent.
Yeah. And it sounds like there's almost this constant threat of, no matter what happens, because these guards are armed and because they have guns, you kind of just have to bear it and, keep focused on your journey, which I think
Yes.
nobody should have. I know that nobody should have to go through that just to seek safety and refuge. And you said something that really stuck with me during your NBC interview. You said they consider white people before considering Black people. And
Yes.
I think that's just universally something that I've noticed, like anti-Blackness in so many, not just European countries, but places all over the globe. And I had heard that in Poland. I know that you're not in Poland, but I had heard instances of, in Poland, they're segregating the lines where they're putting Ukrainians in one line and then non-Ukrainians in another. I don't know if that is the case in Ukraine or if you witnessed anything like that.
Personally, I didn't witness anything, but I also heard something similar to what you just said. They first take care of Ukrainians before they think of taking care of the non-Ukrainians, especially Black people. But personally, for me, when I passed the Romanian border, I can't really remember the name. I can't even pronounce it. But then the Ukrainian soldiers there were very nice. They were very nice. They smiled at us. They even told us, they encouraged us that Ukraine is going to get better, so we should still come back. They told us Slava Ukraina, which means glory to Ukraine. And yes, that was a very nice thing yes, that was a very nice thing. And then when we got to the Romanian border too, they were not racist at all. It was like a first come, first serve thing. So when you come, they process your stuff and then you can go. They were very nice. They provided us with food, water, shelter, clothes. They were very nice people.
Yes, and I'm glad that there's light at the end of the tunnel and that there are, people in the midst of this, there are people who are just doing basic things like basic human kindness that should be shown to everyone. I'm really glad that you had a good experience in Romania. So after the invasion, just going back a little bit, after the invasion, for me, I think it's so important to talk about mental health and the effects that this will have on the people who are experiencing it. After the invasion, did you kind of start to question your positionality in Ukraine? Because for me, observing it as a Black person, I feel like a lot of times, and maybe this is the case in Ukraine, they're fine to have our presence in when it comes to fighting for the country or when it comes to being in their schools and working to contribute economically to the country. But when it comes to a situation of danger where, you know, who is going to exit and who is going to be treated with the basic human right to flee a country that is in war, that's when you start to see Black residents being treated as secondary humans and secondary members of society. And that is really what bothered me when watching and hearing and seeing everything that you're telling me that you experienced. So I don't know if that's something that ran through your head, or if you started to question those things mentally about the Black experience in Ukraine.
What you are saying is very true. It's very true, because it looks as if when you study in Ukraine, you sort of add to their, you sort of improve upon their economic state and everything. But then when it gets to danger, you hardly find any form of Ukrainian help. Let me put it that way. Yes.
Yeah, that's what really struck me, is when it comes to danger, when it comes down to it, who is prioritized and who isn't. And that says a lot about where people stand. But do you feel like the media is accurately reporting on what's going on?
I think the media is trying their best. Yes, that's what I can see.
Okay. Is there anything that you wish that they would cover more of, or anything that you feel like needs attention that maybe hasn't been spoken about?
I think they should talk more on how mostly foreigners were treated. I think they should talk more about it. They should raise awareness. Yes.
Yeah.
How foreigners were treated.
I agree. And that's why I'm so glad that we're able to sit down and talk, because these are the stories that need to be told, and this is what needs to be shown. In addition, not saying that anything needs to be erased or they shouldn't talk about what's happening to Ukrainians, but it should be equal and holistic, talking about what everyone is experiencing. So what is the current status of you trying to leave? Where are you now? And where do you see yourself being within the next few weeks?
I intend to go back to my home country, Ghana, to rethink everything. Yes. So, yes.
Okay. So are you still going to be in aviation school, or are you taking a break from school and until things calm down, or?
I hope things calm down. But if not, I might change my school. Okay. I just hope things calm down.
Okay, so you're thinking of going.
Something.
Okay, so you're thinking of going to school in Ukraine. I mean, not Ukraine. Sorry, in Ghana, like aviation school. Maybe transferring to a school there, or would you go to school somewhere else?
I would prefer going to any European aviation.
Okay. Well, I have my fingers crossed. I know that you'll get into whatever school you apply to, just off your talent and your passion. So I'm sure that will be fine once you get settled in. What do you hope for the future of Black residents in Ukraine, as well as the Ukrainian people?
I just wish them speedy recovery, because I have realized that, I mean, they have their bad sides, but then Ukraine is a very strong country. They are very brave people. They are very patriotic people. They have a lot of culture. Ukraine is a very beautiful country, and their language is very, very nice. Ukraine is a nice place. I just hope they come back I hope they come back together. They come back even stronger. Yes.
Right. And I think that's all we can hope for, is just hoping for the best. Ukraine is a very beautiful country with a beautiful language, and I just wish everyone safety, and that dictatorship will not prevail. So what do you hope for the future of, or what actions do you think that foreign leaders should take in these measures?
I'm just hoping they find other ways of peacefully resolving this war, because it's very obvious the war is very uncalled for. It's not helping anyone. Yes. It's not helping Russia. It's just not helping anyone.
Yeah, it's really not helping anyone. And ultimately it's the people who suffer. It's not going to be the
Yes.
not going to be the politicians or the people in charge. It's going to be us, people on the ground who suffer. So I think that's what I pray for as well. As
Can I come? Can I come? I was listening to the news and I heard McDonald's has suspended its operations in Russia. I heard so many banks, international banks, yes, and lots of companies have suspended their operations in Russia. I just hope this whole thing stops. Yes, it's not helping anything.
It really isn't. And I saw that too, like McDonald's, TikTok, Netflix, so many places just like canceled everything in Russia. So I'm glad that they're doing that because it's kind of like isolating Russia. But then it's also like, again, the Russian people are now going to suffer as a result of the evils that Putin is doing. So it's like, yeah, I hope that we can continue to just fight and this doesn't have to escalate further. And my last question is just like, everyone, there's going to be a lot of people who are watching this and tuning in. For those everyday people who are watching, what would you like them to know about your experience in Ukraine, and how can they get involved and sort of help and push back against the way foreigners and African refugees are being treated within Ukraine and across, even in Poland and European countries where they're seeking refuge?
Can you please repeat? It's my experience is not something that anyone should have because it is very traumatizing. I mean, I just try to brush it off, but there are times when the experiences can really hit you. Like, for example, when my phone, like when I have a notification, like I get startled sometimes. Yes, it's that bad.
Yeah.
I hope no one experiences it. And I think they can help by increasing awareness. They can try and increase awareness, as in, yes, because I realized some people still don't know what is going on in Ukraine.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm right, but some people still, maybe they might not have access to the news, but some people still, even if they know, they got to know later on.
Right.
You understand? Yes.
No, that's so true. A lot of people really don't know what's happening, or they have like a very surface level understanding of it. But I think I wanted to kind of check in with you and ask like how you're feeling mentally, because I think, like you said, getting text messages and kind of getting startled by that, those could be signs of like PTSD. So when you experience a traumatic event, it takes a while for your body's nervous system to regulate back to how it was before. How are you feeling though?
There are times when I'm alone, then the whole thing keeps playing back. So I cry, I know, I cry sometimes, but then it keeps playing back, like the whole scene, the whole violence, being in the train, 19 hours, the cold, the racism. I mean, I question myself that is it that I don't look human or it's because of my black skin? I seriously don't understand. Yes.
These people just have these racist ideals in their mind that they can't seem to see past. So it's definitely nothing in relation to you, like, but it is something like when we experience racism as Black people, it does make you question, like, okay, is there something like that I'm doing wrong? But no, definitely not. That's never the case ever. It's actually something wrong with that. So I just, what I want to do is just speak positivity over you, because I know things probably seem really bad and uncertain right now, but I just know that you're going to prevail, and I'm sending you lots of prayers and blessings because I know that you will make it through this, and brighter days are ahead for sure. And I'm so sorry that you have to go through this right now, but I know that you're going to make it out. With that being said, is there anything that we didn't touch on that maybe you want to speak to, or anything that maybe we didn't get to talk about?
I would want to talk about the Ukrainian president.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm just proud that I lived in his country because he's a very brave man. And I'm so proud of him. He's doing everything he can. He's at the war front. He's been. I'm just happy. Yes,
Yeah.
he's been very strong, and the Ukrainians themselves, they are being very, very strong. And I just hope they come back stronger and all those things. I really have positive thoughts for Ukraine. I'm not Ukrainian, but I really have positive thoughts for Ukraine.
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell that it was somewhere that was like your second home. So
Mhm.
I can feel that sort of happiness and positivity coming through the screen. But I agree. I've been seeing all over the Ukrainian president, his wife have been amazing and really on the forefront of fighting for the country and the people on the ground, and not just like acting like normal politicians who will just sort of
Mhm.
typically not do what he's doing. So yeah, I'm in the same sort of mindset. I agree with that. But I appreciate you for sharing your story, and I am just sort of overflowed right now. It's really a lot, and I really look forward to being able to bring attention to this. I hope you have a good night's rest, and definitely let's keep in contact and let me know if you ever need anything.
Thank you very
All right.
much.
Bye, Ethel. It was so good meeting you.
Bye.
Talk later. See ya.